What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. If you're watching this is on. Sorry, oh, there goes my camera. If you're watching this, it is on a Saturday, and I am joined again by Sidney. If you guys remember, she was on last week's episode of Naruto. Yeah, last week's episode.
It was last week, yeah.
Yeah. Time flies. So
It
she's
does.
back again because we are diving into season 3 of The Mandalorian that just wrapped up this past Wednesday. I'm excited. This is probably gonna be a long video, so you guys better be sure to make yourselves comfortable. So, the first thing to kick things off, let me hear what your overall thoughts of the season were, and then I'll tell you mine.
Right. Overall, I definitely enjoyed this season. The season was definitely like you had to wait to see it all come together in the end. I thought it was a good season. It's very different from the first two as far as like overall like plot and the end goal is. But I really enjoyed the finale. I definitely think it was the two last episodes were probably the strongest episodes of the season. Um, there were some minor critiques that I had as far as like pacing and the pacing was kind of all over the place, but that personally doesn't bother me. But I've heard a lot of other people talking about it as well. My It's not even a big complaint. It's just something I noticed is that this season they really didn't go very deep into the characterization of the characters themselves. It was very, very plot focused to where we didn't really get a lot of insight into the character's psyche, with the exception of Bo-Katan. I feel like she was definitely the star of this season, and a lot of people thought that Din should have continued to be the main character. He still is. I'm honestly really loving what they did with Bo-Katan in this season, and kind of made this its own separate arc. And now Din is going back to doing what he was in the first two seasons, just being a bounty hunter. And it makes sense now, having seen the finale, of kind of how they did the whole season as a whole.
Okay. Yes. So one of the things one of the annoying things I would definitely say, or maybe not annoying, but just the very inconsistent of the run times of the episodes was very, very annoying. Because like this past Wednesday, this episode was like maybe 39 minutes, whereas you had like episode 3 was it's like about 50 minutes, close to an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really do much. I think so. I think the inconsistent with run times was a little annoying thing to deal with. I
Always a bad thing though,
Yeah,
because like they sometimes, if they're shorter, it's just because there's less that needs to be told and it's like concise. But I get where you're coming from, because I
right,
also just want the full hour.
right. Because I mean, especially with your season finale, it just, there's probably more that could have been done. Um, I've seen people talk about how they enjoyed it, but they just felt like, but they wanted a little bit more out of it for it being a season 3 finale compared to, like, you saw with, season 2, we had Luke Skywalker, and then season 1, you kind of have that big showdown on Navarro and Moff Gideon with the dark saber. So it just, maybe I wanted a little bit more, not a whole lot. There are certain things I wanted a little bit more. I had no issue with the direction that the way they did with Din Djarin. Um, there are some things I would have liked a little bit more. I would probably like a little bit more of a backstory on him and his mentor
Mm-hmm.
that kind of raised him and trained him to be a Mandalorian. I think that would have been something cool
That's kind of
too.
more what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
More plot was very like not shallow, but like kind of shallow as far as like depth goes.
yeah,
It was very just kind of, whereas I wanted more. I really wanted more of Bo-Katan getting into her past, because she mentioned her father. I
oh
wanted
yeah,
more of that. I want to know about her childhood. The other thing, they didn't mention Satine, which
yeah,
I don't see the logic in. I do not. I've seen some people expecting like they want live action Maul killing Satine with Obi-Wan. Like, no, no, no. I'm not fishing for cameos. I just want a little bit just to hear a little bit more about her relationship with her sister growing up, her past. And of course, there is always time for that in the future. But I feel like when her and Din were in, the capital, that would have been the perfect time for it. Another thing is like Paz Vizsla. What do we know about him as a character?
Yeah. Now he did
Not
get
much.
I would say he got a little bit more development this season compared to the two seasons and a little bit of Book of Boba Fett. It's just
like, yeah, him and then Casca Reeves, Axe Wolves, the armor. They're still very. I can understand not knowing a lot about armor because her being mysterious is kind of her whole shtick.
Yeah,
but like. We don't know anything about Paz Vizsla, Axe Wolves, and Casca Reeves.
Right.
And also something that got the one thing, because I'm actually really happy with the finale. But the one thing that I was kind of like about is because like Ragnar's at the very end.
Oh yeah.
Just actually everything's hunky dory.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like your dad just died, dude. Why are you not more upset about this? I would have thought it'd be cool to have like kind of like a Boba Fett parallel.
Yeah.
With like him dad's helmet or something. Or at least just them telling him your father's dead. Or like what's gonna happen to him now? Is he gonna be adopted by another Mando? Is he gonna be raised collectively from the clan? Something like that would have been cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. And the fact that they didn't really do anything for Paz Vizsla after he basically sacrificed himself to let everybody else escape, and they don't really do much about it in the season finale. Now, obviously, his son, kind of like, gets baptized into the way of the Mandalore.
Essentially.
But his dad just died. It would have been nice, like you said, if they would have like maybe given him his helmet.
I mean, I feel like Gideon definitely took the Beskar and dumped the body, which is horrible, but that's something that probably.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, having a pier or something like a pyre, not whatever you call it. Having some kind of funeral, some kind of statue, some way to honor him. Could be nice, but they might pull an IG-11 and you might go back to Mandalore next season and there might be a statue there,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and it's just, there was just. I'm not really upset. I'm fine with the Bo-Katan arc because out of the, if we're going by just the Mandoverse, she's by far the most well-known and semi-developed character anyway, just because her ties to Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and Rebels. It is annoying. It is very much annoying that not only that Bo-Katan, but also the Children of the Watch, the Armorer, they blame Bo-Katan for what happened with the Empire, but they also don't really mention Darth Maul and that whole situation that went down with him killing Satine, and it's just, and not just Satine, but
at the same time, it's like I'm not really sure what relevance Darth Maul would have had in this moment because that did happen over 20 years ago, and we think of how much the galaxy has changed in just the past 10 years. In the Star Wars universe, it probably Darth Maul, and that was before the Empire even took over, so that probably feels like even more than ancient history of them, and maybe they're just focusing in and out because they got enough to worry about. I mean, that's my. I feel like Satine and all that, like, definitely should have had a reference. Death Watch is relevant because they were part of Death Watch, and they were all kind of a part of Death Watch at one point. A lot of them were.
Yeah. And even she said they splinter off into different factions. Mm-hmm. So
that is something I'm wanting, because that's something it's like they haven't really gone deep into characterization, but they also haven't gone deep into explaining the past.
Yeah.
And explaining a lot of the logistics that things have gone on. Like that's one of the things I've been worrying wondering about is how did Death Watch get to the Children of the Watch? Are they a splinter group? Which they're Death. Now we know that Death Watch broke into multiple groups, and Children of the Watch is just one of them.
Yeah.
And we got that explanation of how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber from Bo-Katan,
which was good. Which was very good.
I'm really glad we got those two, because when I was watching the second to last episode, I'm like, cool, great, thank you. This is what I've been wondering the entire season. I'm glad we finally got that. It's kind of, and that's how it goes a lot of times. You just gotta be patient, and you'll get the explanation eventually.
I think, yeah.
I kind of feel like it's a little bit more detailed and fleshed out, just because I feel like we as a fandom are spoiled because they did so much of that in Clone Wars and not more Rebels. Rebels took its time delving deep into the character's psyche. They had a lot of downtime where you really got to connect with these characters on an emotional level, which is why I love the show so much. And so you have such a deeper understanding of these characters because the seasons are like 20 episodes long.
Yeah.
You got a lot of filler, but the filler is what it lets you spend time with these characters and get to know them better, which with Mando being 8 episodes in a season, you really don't have a lot of time to spare on the more deeper emotional aspects.
You could.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes it works.
Yeah. The issue, I think the issue with season 3 is that there were just some episodes that there were some plot lines that probably could have just been condensed into at least one episode. Or maybe not one episode, but maybe 2 episodes, just to leave you that room for more character development. Because if you look at, what was it called? The episode where that had Jack Black and Lizzo in it. Was that a necessary episode? Now looking at the full context.
When you look into overall plot, the thing is, everything doesn't have to be plot relevant. You can do stuff for fun, and I did enjoy that episode because of that. However, there is the argument that because it's only 8 episodes, they could have. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have made more sense if it was like a 13, 16 episode season or a 12 episode season. I still enjoyed it.
Right.
It did. That episode for me was seeing Din and Bo really work together like a well-oiled team. And, of course, Bo getting the Darksaber and meeting up with the rest of the Mandos. But that could have been half the length, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, also that in episode 3 with the Dr. Pershing episode. Again, that's like about 50-ish minutes. After I initially watched it, I was just kind of like, I don't know if this was really necessary. But now, after rewatching it a few times, I see the point of it. But again, if you look at it, you have that episode, and then you get the Shadow Collective, who we only see once, and there's no other kind of development with that group. Then it's just kind of because the whole Pershing episode somewhat is tied in with the Shadow Collective because of them asking about, well, what happened to asking Gideon, what happened to Pershing? Well, he was captured by the New Republic.
You're talking about the group of Imperials?
Yeah. A lot of people have been calling the Shadow Collective.
Are they called the Shadow? I've never heard that before. Are they called the Shadow Collective?
I think that's what people have been calling them.
I thought the Shadow Collective was Darth Maul's group of
It may be Darth Maul, and it may people just
like the syndicates, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I've seen people call them the Shadow Collective. It may be a different. It is a different name, but it's just.
But then,
yeah,
I feel like head into that one episode was definitely very, very separate from the rest of the plot of the season, except for how it did tie into the end. I did feel like it was necessary. When you're talking about like, oh, it could have been shorter, and that time could have been something else. Yes, but at the same time, I don't know. It's kind of like I will never complain about having a longer episode about extra stuff.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of the importance of that episode is still yet to be seen because again, that the group of Imperial warlords,
Yeah.
Warlords.
Yeah.
I feel like because you're still having these guys vie for power and Thrawn, mentioning Thrawn, which love by the way. I feel like we're still seeing. We still got Ahsoka to go through. We still got Mando season 4 to go to, and we still got the movie.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of the repercussions of that episode in particular, I feel like it is much bigger than just the finale. I feel like it's going to have a lot of importance later on.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why it's so long, because it does have more importance than we're aware of currently.
Yeah. I would definitely say this is interesting. I can see where people have talked about the season and the plot not moving forward, because I've seen people talk about how it just felt like with certain episodes, probably the rest of the episodes, with the rest of the season, with the exception of Mines of Mandalore, probably The Pirate, episode 5, The Spies, and The Return. I've seen people talk about how most of the season it just felt like the plot wasn't moving forward just because of how it felt like side quest after side quest and not really sticking to the main quest. But I don't know. Yeah.
All have. I don't think anything is. I think filler is grossly overused. I don't see any episodes this season as filler. I think they're all plot relevant. I gotta your name dropping title, so I gotta go look it up.
Oh, sorry.
Obviously,
Mines of Mandalore was.
Arguments can be made for episode 6, Guns of Fire, the one where they're at with Lizzo and Jack Black.
Okay, that's what it was.
That argument, but that's one episode.
Yeah.
I don't see the argument of saying that it's not plot relevant when pretty much every single episode. I mean, the Apostate, he meets up with the Covert and Knights of Mandalore. That was a major one.
Yeah.
The Covert, again, that's the one where they're on
Coruscant.
I feel like we're going to be still feeling the wavelengths from that one for seasons to come. The Foundling, the Pirate. I mean, I feel like they're all important. I feel like they're all very plot relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I think people's main complaint is just that we didn't get Mando strike teams in this episode, therefore it's filler.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen people make that argument that if it is not an action, it has no value, which, that's not.
Right.
I don't feel like that is an extremely valid criticism to have. But there were valid criticisms in this season. Like I said, like the pacing was all over the place. But all in all, I feel like it could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse. There were so many incredible moments in this season, and I'm pretty happy with it walking out of it.
Because I know, because it recently came out, or probably the past couple of weeks, that there have been I don't want to say issues, but there's been some tension between Disney and Pedro. I don't know how much. I think from what I'm understanding, he's basically being paid as a voice actor because he's hardly ever in the suit anyway, except for maybe like once in season 2. I think that's the only time he was actually. I think he's only been in it once.
See, I've heard different views. I've heard people saying, "Oh, he's only in the suit when his face is being shown. Otherwise, it's Wayne and Crowder."
Yeah.
And I've also heard that he is in the suit. It's split pretty evenly between the three of them. It's hard because so much of the information comes from clickbait articles and rumors.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these rumors, like I've done my research, and not in this particular instance, but other instances, and it's like the rumors come from sources. Yeah. What's a source? It's a source. It's really hard to figure out what's actually happening. I haven't heard a lot about the current situation about there being stress.
Yeah.
I heard, but who knows?
Yeah.
I can't see there being too much difficulty because he's kind of like their golden ticket.
Right,
So,
right. Because I mean, he didn't. Because I mean, obviously, he was in Game of Thrones, but the Mandalorian is probably the main thing that really got his career going. Because obviously, he's in The Last of Us, and he's in a few other, projects here and there. I think everything will work out, and I feel like when we go into talk about season 4, I think there are some things about season 4 I think that could potentially be more beneficial for that character. But I think something I thought about too was I'm really surprised that we didn't get a reveal of who the armorer is. That or we didn't get, there wasn't a moment where you let the Mandalorians decide. Well, I guess you can. Well, not take that back. You kind of did but like, let them decide whether they want to wear the helmets or not. If that makes sense, you want to unite them. But I don't know.
It's kind of implied that they're all kind of. There are no rules at this point. They're not forced to take the creed. They're not forced to remove their helmets. I think each individual is just doing what they want to do. And I think it's strongly implied. It could be cool. It would have been cool to have it like explicitly said.
Yeah.
But like I said, they're not doing a lot of the detail explanations this season, it seems. But it doesn't really seem that it needs a ton of explanation just because that final, whenever they're all like for Mandalore, that was so cool. I love that. Chill. But like there are people with their helmets off, there are people with their helmets on. So I feel like that's kind of what happened there, is anyone can just do whatever they want.
Yeah. Cause speaking of details, I feel like something, I don't know if it was not necessarily tone deaf, but it didn't get the emotional feel that I feel like they were trying to go for when Grogu was named Din Grogu and Din Djarin basically adopts him. But it was,
I love the adoption part, the Din Grogu part. I'm like, yay, huh? Din. Yes, I'm like, wait.
Yeah, it was just.
I'm confused. I'm confused, and I don't like him because I'm like, wait, does that mean Din is Din Djarin's last name? Is Djarin his first name? Like, I'm very confused.
It was just like,
and I feel like we'll get more explanation, but I don't love it.
Yeah, but it was just like it's kind of like, I want to adopt him as my son, and if you're a fan watching, you're like, well, we already kind of made that assumption and that connection that it was like a father-son relationship. I mean, it's fine if you want to vocally say it, but there's moments. Yeah.
There's this thing. So there's taking it in Legends, Mando Legends. There's this thing. You take foundlings, but it's kind of like adopting a kid, but like to consider them your own, there is a set of adoption vows in Mandola, which I was like, say it, and I didn't, which I was disappointed about. But it's kind of like, I think the translation is, and it could be wrong, but I think it's like, I know your name as my child.
Okay.
And it's kind of deformally like you are, because in Legends you have this big emphasis on adoption, family. Family is more than blood. Family is, if you adopt a kid, they are as good as a blood child.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where it's coming from. It's like, yeah, he had him, but he never formally, I guess, adopted him. And that was, I enjoyed that, actually. I did think that it was necessary.
Yeah. I think it's just like from a fan perspective, when you've kind of like gone through now 3 seasons, you've already made that connection in your mind. That this is
no, duh, he's your son, dude. Like,
yeah, and you're just kind of like, I mean, this
Well,
is yeah, we did this.
yes.
Yeah, so and so that was which is fine. Again, I have no issue with that whatsoever. Um now so I just think now because now I talk about it. So let's talk about these last two episodes, the spies,
Mhm.
and then we'll talk about the return. So the spies. I don't know. Maybe they probably could have used a different title or maybe rename the title because it was so interesting because they called it the
People
spies
went
and it was
crazy with
yes
these
it was
theories.
it was just
And
insane. A lot of them were good theories though. To be fair,
I see it. I actually was. I never voiced them. I don't really. But like deep down, I was like, Mandalorians are one thing. They are proud and they are stubborn. If
yeah,
someone betrays them, they're not going to forgive them,
yeah,
even for money, even for anything. So everyone's theories about Axe Wolves, Cosca Reeves, the armorer, being the spy. I was like, I don't think any of them are the spy because at the end of the day, they're still Mandalorians. They never. I couldn't see any of them working for the Empire for any reason because they committed mass genocide against their people. Like I don't
yeah,
see any logic that them work for that. And I guess I was kind of right.
yeah.
But like maybe it was just a misnomer in the title. Maybe it was talking about Moff Gideon. Like
Or what was her name? Elia Kane.
Kane was definitely one. I mean, I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, but
Gideon
it's
could have more spies.
yeah,
Like he probably
yeah.
did.
It was just
Um,
I think a little,
people
but
went down the
oh
road
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
but
my
again,
god.
to be fair, there were a lot of like there were like a lot of good theories out there. Like for instance, you had those three Mandalorians on the sailboat that showed up, and they're just like people were kind of like, "You lived here for how long, and you never noticed the Empire show up?" And it's just there were some
Honestly,
pretty good
yeah.
good theories out there.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of them were just like the armor is mad sus because their helmet has spikes. I'm like, okay, and like that doesn't.
Talk about yeah, because she was like a maybe a Darth Maul loyalist.
I think people were. I mean, people there. It is cool that like that she could be a remnant from Death Watch and some of the
Yeah,
Death Watch that did. Sure, still doesn't mean like Maul was Maul.
yeah, yeah,
He's still not the. You can say what you can say all you want about Maul and his rule of Mandalore. He never slaughtered their entire
right,
population.
yeah. Because so the reason, so thinking about because like thinking about it when I was talking about the spies, you're trying to figure out who is a spy. What is this? And back when it was like Cosca Reeves, Axe Woves, Armorer, I thought if it, I thought for a while even if it was one of them, I thought the scene where Bo-Katan tells them what really happened about how Gideon betrayed her and still decimated the planet. I was like, okay, them hearing this story, maybe like, okay, maybe I don't need to betray or anything like that. Because for a while, all we heard was, Bo-Katan, it's because of the dark saber, this, and this. She let the planet get destroyed, and then it comes out, and she comes out and just lets them know that she was willing to do what she needed to do to save her people, but Moff Gideon just stabbed her in the back. And so I was just like, okay, maybe if there is a spy or a traitor, them hearing the story will just like mentally be like, okay, maybe let me take a step back with this. So
Mhm. Yeah,
you know.
I honestly I think that was just an unintentional.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't think that.
yeah, it went.
And also I'm seeing a lot now because people really did not like the armor even before this episode. They're like, she's sus, she's mad sus,
Yeah,
and
because again,
I
yeah,
think that is just part of her character is her being mysterious. I don't think we're ever going to have a reveal. I don't think one is really. I will want to know more about her, but I don't
mhm.
think a a face reveal is necessary.
I think she was. I think people saying she was sus because of how just because of like the 180 turn she made. Because like she's very strict about the whole keep your helmet on thing. But then after episode 5, the pirates, she tells Bo-Katan to remove her helmet. And so I think a lot of people are just kind of like, this feels like a weird shift in this character. So all of a sudden, like, she's very, because you look at Din Djarin, he was an apostate because he removed his helmet. He has to go to Mandalore and bathe in the living waters. Then all of a sudden, Bo-Katan, take off your helmet. And it's just like this weird, I think that's where people started to get sus with her, maybe. It's just kind of like, you're so adamant about living the way, you kind of like change it and tell Bo-Katan to take off her helmet, which is against the way that you're trying to. It was like a weird
it makes sense
shift
now,
change.
Because from my perspective, the Armorer's end goal is taking back Mandalore, having united Mandalore, and I think that she saw that Din was not going to be that person because he wanted nothing to do with it. And after she saw that Bo was willing to, walk the way, even temporarily, and I think she saw an opportunity that, this could be the person. She can do both ways. Where she can be what she saw at the bridge between the two people. By taking the vow, even if it was a temporary one, I think she did get the acceptance of the Children of the Watch, which is one end, and then the Armorer sent her off to get the others. And I think that is, I think that was the goal. I think the Armorer I think she's more intelligent than we give her credit. I think she
well also too, she also got to see firsthand Bo-Katan, except because it's very unclear if she ever met Bo-Katan, because obviously she mentions that they were on Concordia, so she may have heard stuff about Bo-Katan, about Bo.
I'm sure,
but this was but this was like her seeing her in person.
Yeah,
and like she had like good leadership qualities and things like that. So.
Definitely. It didn't seem to me like she had met her in person, but the Kryze clan is kind of notorious, so I feel like, she was she was Death Watch's right hand, I guess, so. And
her sister was the ruler of Mandalore, so.
Like, she may be in a covert, but I feel like she's still aware. But everyone's like, man, we did the Armor, we judged her wrong, and now they're
all day today on Twitter. It's just all day today on Twitter and TikTok. I've just seen people be like, "I'm sorry to, we owe her a big apology."
So. Yeah, because everyone's just playing the videos of her flying through the air like.
That was just so cool.
That was so cool.
That is some major points that I would give the director of these 2 episodes. Some of the visuals that he did and went with were just amazing visuals. Axe Woves coming down in that light cruiser coming through the sky, amazing visual. Seeing the Mandalorian, I
noticed that as well. My jaw dropped. That part. I said to my sister that was watching. I'm like, these graphics, with that whole star. These graphics are insane.
They were just.
That was some of the.
And then,
it wasn't even a starship battle, but it was some of the best star cruiser space CGI that I have seen come out of Star Wars.
Especially so it's really cool because they talked about how, because Dan told Grogu how Mandalore used to be, lush, full of green, and then you get that little hidden cave, which is cool. So. Hopefully we see more of that in the future, maybe in season 4 or something like that. But just a cool sequence is just like the Armor radios Bo and like your reinforcement have arrived. They all just jetpack it up, head back to the base, and Bo pulls the dark saber, and I was just like, oh man, that's just that's amazing.
Between honestly, it's like these last two episodes, as far as action scenes goes, like this is what I've been waiting for since season 1. Is just seeing the fight choreography was very, very well done. Seeing these like an aerial battle, but just this kind of like a Mandalorians working together as a massive attack force strike team. Like, what does Bo-Katan say in Rebels? A Mandalorian with a jetpack is a weapon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She says it through Ezra. Yeah.
Just incredible.
And like some of the shots, again, just going back to the shots that were done, there was like the one of you with that dark, I wouldn't just say dark trooper, but like flying, you see the armorer just come in and just smack them. It was just really cool. You got Casca. She does this cool slide, stop and slide, hit the jets and fire knee rockets. It's just awesome.
With all even though we were just complaining about how we felt like the armor, Axe Woves, and Casca didn't get enough character development, they still had their moment in the spotlight, and I'm so glad that they did.
Yeah.
Because they each had the armor and Casca just had their moments in that fight that were just like jaw-droppingly awesome, and then of course Axe saves the day with him with the ship.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
So one of the things I've seen people talk about were, and I think this is where people, it's hard for them to like, I'm trying to think of the word, because touring guards, the last time you saw them before Mandalorian was The Last Jedi, and they essentially got their butts whooped. And then they look really cool in episode 7, beating Paz. And then I think I've seen people talk about how bad they look now, losing to Grogu a little bit before Din shows up. So it's just, I don't like. I
feel like there's a difference between fighting. Well, first of all, they are wearing Beskar.
Yeah.
In Mando, they obviously don't have that in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And in The Last Jedi, I mean, I have heard a lot about the fight choreography in that scene, but in perspective, they are fighting two Force sensitives.
Yeah.
Powerful Force sensitives in The Last Jedi. So obviously they're going to be at a pretty big disadvantage there without Beskar armor. And Grogu is also extremely, and in this episode they're fighting not only someone with Beskar, but also then, a Force sensitive with two Mandalorians wearing Beskar.
Yeah, so it's but that was also cool. That was pretty cool seeing Grogu kind of handle his own. That training with Luke paying off.
He's an asset now, and not just a hindrance. Not a hindrance. He was never a hindrance, but you always had to hide. Like you cannot be here.
Right.
If something happens to you, you're kind of a little bit more of a liability because he could be captured by Moff Gideon and all that. Now with the oh gosh, it really cracks me up because he's in the IG-12 unit. And he kind of comes and saves Din, and then he's like, I'm fine, and he's just spraying it with Bacta. I'm fine, keep spraying it with Bacta. It's like, no, you're not, Dad, here's some more Bacta spray.
It really, especially these past couple of episodes, you really saw, because you really saw Din start to trust Grogu a little bit more than obviously previous seasons. Because, like, again, that training with Luke really paid off, even though it was very. I've seen people talk about there was like a 2-year jump between Book of Boba Fett and I'm trying to remember how they said it. There's like a jump between when Luke takes Grogu and then when Din shows up at that planet where they're at training. So he's had a good bit of time to really work on his skills and everything, and it showed. He has really grown up, even though he's still a baby. He has really grown up, and you saw after he rescued Din, he's like, "Listen, buddy, we got to end this." And you saw that trust, and even during the fighting, just the tag teaming they were doing was just so cool. Grogu just using just awesome. It was just so cool to watch. That sequence was not just him, Grogu and Din, but Din, Grogu, Din, and Bo against Moff Gideon. Just the Mandalorians are stronger together.
Yes.
Just all of that.
And that's one of my favorite. Everyone, I see all these Mando cosplayers sharing that. The two quotes on their Instagrams for Mandalore and Mandalorians are strong together, and I love that. But one of the things, the parallels I do love with Grogu is that him and Din and Bo-Katan trying to save him from the explosion.
Oh yeah.
And they look up, and it's kind of like that scene in Incredibles, but it's like they look up and there's just a shield all around them, but it's Grogu. And he lets it go, and he's like, I gotta sit down. But it's like, it used to be like, it's a parallel back to season 1, where he saves Din from that flame trooper.
Yeah.
And of course, he does that, and then he passes out because he can't use the Force without getting so exhausted. Now it's like, kind of gotta sit down, but I'm cool, I'm good, and I can handle this. And that parallel, and see how much stronger he's gotten.
He pulled
that was really, really well.
Yeah, he pulled a Kanan Jarrus. And
don't say that. No, he didn't. Not quite.
The same thing didn't happen to him, but it was I saw somebody on Twitter, they were like, without spoilers, how would you define this episode? And so that's what somebody put. They put Kanan Jarrus in all caps, and I was just like, oh, come on now, that's it's a little bit different, but and so but yeah, because it's funny because you're just thinking about it, because both Dan and Bo go to protect Grogu, and she has like that tiny little shield, and then just again,
what was that gonna do?
Yeah, and again, visually, I was just like, what are you gonna do with that? That's not gonna do anything. And then visually, it shows Grogu protecting them both, and I was just like, man, this is good.
Was beautiful. That was I think one of the most, not the most, but one of the most emotional scenes. Like that one, and then at the end with all the Mandalorians together. I think those are some of the more emotional scenes in the series finale. That was just, that was so gorgeous, and just how they looked, and they're just in shock. And Bo, you can't see Din's expression, obviously, but Bo's expression was just like,
there was
like
just
disbelief,
it's like
joy,
a little mom, dad, child moment right there. It's just
literally,
it's just
it was great. And also, I didn't notice it while watching the show, but I've seen edits, because apparently like Din and Bo-Katan are doing knee slides. Apparently at one point, Grogu is like, I'm gonna do one too, and he does a little slide. Like it's just, and I think that is such an adorable little
and so he's
little touch.
So it's just that was so good. And then they're like, when they were relighting the forge, I was like, there was a lot more Mandalorians here than.
It was like, I think there was maybe another little time jump, and maybe even more Mandos came once I heard that it was safe.
I will say I would definitely say I am upset, because I think it would have been cool to see Finn Rao, and then it would have been even better. But I think
they had to.
Yeah, I think to tie it in with Ahsoka, having Sabine there would have been very interesting, because you have her in this final season of Mandalorian. In August, Ahsoka comes out, and we pick up right with her again. So I thought that would have been pretty cool element to add in, but.
I'm starting to think, because we were talking about in our the last time I was guesting, we were talking about the timeline of Ahsoka in Mandalorian, and I changed my mind, because now it looks like Ahsoka might be taking place, because you think about Mando season 3 is probably going to tie in with Ahsoka, or season 4, and then you got the movie. So now it's looking at like a lot of Ahsoka might be taking place in that 2-year gap between Book of Boba Fett and season 3.
Oh yeah.
We don't know months in August. But
Right. Oh, hold on, everybody. Hold on. There's something. Discord is being weird. That's weird. Okay, there we go.
you for a second.
Yeah, that was weird. No, we're good. We're good. We're back. We're good. Sorry about that, everybody. We're good. Let's see here.
Good.
Okay, there we go.
I don't.
All right. Okay, we're good. We are back.
Yeah. So they were talking about the group of Imperial warlords were talking about Thrawn coming back, but no one's seen him. So maybe that's because like maybe that like him reemerging and whispers of him reemerging, maybe that was happening because he's doing that in Ahsoka, which takes place a little bit beforehand.
Yeah, because now that I remember, because the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka was kind of just telling Luke that because Luke was like, "Will I see you again?" Because she was getting ready to leave, so you're probably right. That happens in that little in between spot.
And we don't, because we know Sabine was on Lothal for a long time,
right
after Rebels, because she originally thought Ezra was telling her to. I think it was like she originally thought that Ezra was telling her to stay and watch Lothal, but then she realized that she actually needed to go find him. So I'm curious as to when Ahsoka is, she shows back up to Lothal to pick Sabine up. Right. When is that? Is that during Mandalorian? Is that during that 2-year gap? Was that before Mando and we time skip? Like, has Sabine been with Ahsoka when we saw her during season 2 of Mando? Because it almost looks like she wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious as to like what that timeline.
And that because I think I mentioned that in the previous video because I was thinking that was there like some kind of like falling out? Was there maybe they just went to try to find information on their own or something like that, which is why we got Ahsoka in season 2 of Mandalorian. I'm curious. Right. Yeah, so I'm very curious about that. Yeah, that is interesting. So, cool scene.
I could see more. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, you're good. Go.
Well, back to what you were saying about Fen Rao. I could see other Mandos because it's all interweaving. Yeah. I could see other Rebel characters like Fen Rao showing up and Ahsoka and being like, by the way, they retook Mandalore, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because that was just like, again, for episode, for the season finale, there was just so many over hyping of things. Because like, you were like, oh man, we're going to see Boba Fett. Boba Fett's going to come in. He's going to ride the Mythosaur. Bo's going to go ride the Mythosaur to save the day. Grogu. It was just like, there was just so many people
were out big theories, and also apparently one of the stunt doubles said, "Oh, this episode's a little sad."
Oh,
and people were like, "Ben's gonna die."
Because that's right. Yeah, because he was also like, because he mentioned Boba Fett too, because he was like, Boba Fett always seems to be around when Din needs saving. It was one of the two. One of the two said it.
I feel like they had to have been messing with us.
I think so.
Would have made sense. But again, I feel like that's the whole thing. But I feel like that's going to happen. Like, it would have been nice to see. I was like, I talked about it last week. Something I would love to see. But at the same time, I didn't think was incredible. It's like something you hope to see, but deep down you kind of know, it's probably not going to happen. Just because I feel like it would have taken the focus off of Din and Bo and everything else going on.
Yeah. And so,
but yeah, people really, oh my, I mean, all the time, but holy crap, people, I think this is the biggest rabbit hole I have seen the Star Wars fandom collectively jump down.
And that's probably why fans are divided on this episode. Some fans are very, I'm satisfied with it.
Too high. They want last season was incredible. Like last season finale, you can't really. How can you top that when you logistically think of it? How do you top seeing Luke Skywalker again, OG Luke Skywalker again for the first time in what 20, 40, how many years has it been? 40 years. Return of the
The,
Jedi is about to make its what
yeah.
anniversary? 40?
Oh,
40?
it's oh yeah.
30?
Yeah, I think 30.
Something.
Something like that.
Been a freaking long time. And
Right.
you got to see young not Mark Hamill, but young Luke Skywalker again for the first time since you can't top that.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Right.
And I think a lot of people were expecting a big cameo, and part of me is like, it would have been nice to have, but at the same time, it's like people are getting too reliant on cameos.
Right. Because I mean,
but that shouldn't make it break good.
Yeah, because I mean, if you just look at season 2, I mean, you had, if I remember right, you had Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett was in there too, I think.
We got spoiled.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got Thrawn's name mentioned, and so that. But they made it all work in that season. That's what's really cool.
I said, like, all in all, like, we're critiquing, but all in all, I feel like it was a pretty solid season.
Yeah.
Like, I would definitely rank this above Book of Boba and Kenobi, personally.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go. I need to go back and rewatch Book of Boba Fett.
Me too, because the first time I watch things, I usually just priority to just sit back and make myself enjoy it because I'm all about that watch experience.
Right.
And then later is when I'll go back and watch it looking for more critiques.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Kenobi's a hard.
Yeah, Kenobi.
I liked it better than Boba, and I still really not saying I did not enjoy those. I thoroughly enjoyed Book of Boba and Kenobi.
Right. Kenobi was
such a big deal though, with baby Leia, and then seeing Ewan and Hayden again. It's hard.
If we're ranking like all of them, all the Star Wars Disney live action shows, I would definitely say season 2 of Mandalorian is number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Andor is number 2.
I thought that you would say that.
Yeah. I think season 1 of Mandalorian will be number 3, because even though they were still trying to find their footing as a show, a lot of elements that they did was really cool, and plus introducing us to more Mandalorian lore was really cool. I would do season 3 of Mandalorian, Kenobi, and Book of Boba Fett. Right now, I am going to go back and rewatch those 2 series, and maybe I'll change my opinion. But right now, those 2 are at the bottom. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Putting them at the bottom doesn't mean they're bad.
Oh, right.
You can still. Everyone, we all have our things that we enjoy more. Like, I didn't vibe. Like, Andor was really good. I just didn't vibe with it as much as I did. Mando, I think I would place, as far as live action, I think I would place season 2 at the top, and then I think I would place season 1 and 3 pretty evenly.
Okay.
Just because season 1 is a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
As far as plot and pacing goes. But it of course it's iconic because seeing Grogu for the first time, introducing characters like like Cardoon and Gideon, and it's seeing a dark saber for the first time in live action. No one saw that coming. That was incredible. Yeah. It was good. This it's like comparing apples to oranges, because even in Mandalorian, seasons 1, 2, and 3 are very different.
Yeah.
Because season 3 is kind of its own arc. Like, the way they finish it up, it's almost like there doesn't. Obviously, there needs to be a season 4, but there was no cliffhanger. Happy ending. it's almost like it was its own little separate thing, kind of like how. And this is a lot of people complain that Din's just a side character in his own story, but I honestly think it's funny like that he's just this normal dude trying to go about his life, and he keeps
Right.
getting pulled into these major events, and he's just trying to do his own thing.
Right. And
Like him in Book of Boba Fett. It's like he kind of had a big part in Book of Boba Fett's story, and now it's like this whole season was Bo-Katan's story, and he had a big part in it. And I'm kind of here for it though. Like I a lot of people feel that Bo-Katan stole the limelight, and it's Din's show, and he should have got more screen time. But I also feel like this is obviously important for the future, but it was his story. He's happy that he doesn't have to be king anymore.
Yeah, because he was never gonna. That was never his thing. Because now him and Grogu are going back to what season 1 was basically like, where they're gonna be bounty hunters.
Episode 4 in season 1 is one of my favorites. This one that Bryce Dallas Howard directed. Then it's where he first meets Cara Dune. He's in the village. I forget what it's called, and he almost settles down with Omera. He wants that quiet life. He wants to be able to just relax. He wants to put down roots. But he can't because the Empire's still after Grogu, and he's endangering that entire village. And so that was very much a parallel of him just kind of sitting on the porch, leaning against the wall like that. He literally did that in that episode. And I thought that was a nice touch because he's finally kind of getting what he wants, and he can bounty hunt whenever he wants now that he's working for the New Republic as an independent contractor.
Yeah, and so definitely because now he can just leave the rebuilding of Mandalore to Bo, the Armorer, and all of them, while he just goes. And even Armorer says Grogu must now go on his journeys as you went on yours with your mentor. So. And
we'll get more. I feel like we'll get more backstory in that.
Yeah, I think
it's good. Now he's going to be training Grogu and actually teach him how to be a Mandalorian. And so I feel like you got to give us more backstory on how you became a Mandalorian.
Yeah,
because you were just a kid when you got rescued by the children of the Watch. Like you didn't just become a warrior overnight. Obviously,
right?
How does the Cove train children? Like it'd be really cool if they were to show him doing Grogu at the same time, like show Ragnar growing up and becoming Mandalorian.
Do you think Grogu should have talked by now? Like actually said words? Yeah, because it was clever. It was clever what they did with IG-12, but still.
Yeah. When I tell you, I was rolling. I love that. I feel like they're taking their time. I think a lot of it is a mental thing. Maybe he's not ready to talk yet. Or because he has a lot of trauma, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just not old enough. I think he's almost there because they seem to be foreshadowing that a lot.
Because they especially did that in episode 3, I think. Yeah, episode 3. I forgot the title of it, where they just left Mandalore after Bo seen the Mythosaur, and Bo and Din are talking, and it almost sounds like Grogu is going to say, "This is the way," because they both say it because both Din and Bo say it to each other, and then you can kind of hear Grogu try to say the same thing.
Okay, cool. I don't think it's me.
Oh wait, hold on, let me see.
But it might be. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're lagging.
Okay, there we go. I think that's better. Yep, I see it now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. That's weird.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway,
where were we?
So yeah, because it just sounds like it almost sounds like he's going to say this is the way in that episode, but then they were attacked by TIE bombers and Interceptors? Probably so. So,
I've probably intercepted.
uh,
I think I headed there. I don't think it feels like he should have spoken by now. I think we're all waiting for it, but at the same time, it's like, what is he gonna sound like? Like, I cannot picture. I cannot think of what he would actually sound like.
right.
Because all hear are these little baby like noises. So, like, is he gonna be like baby talk babble? Is he gonna have like the Yoda speak? Is he gonna
Oh,
speak coherent?
gosh.
Like, I don't. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. Like, I
Yeah.
almost want him to stay like how he is though, because I'm used to it.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, it's an interesting season. That is for sure.
what did you think about the dark saber?
I'm fine with it being destroyed because the issue with the dark saber was that people were using using it as a symbol to rule Mandalore, but its purpose was to unite the people of Mandalore, and I think it did its purpose. So it's fine that it got destroyed, in my opinion.
I thought it was very poetic.
Yeah,
And I've heard people compare it to the Iron Throne in Game of Thrones, where it's like, are you really united if you are only uniting because this is
a symbol.
a symbol of a not oppression, a symbol of fear, a symbol of
Yeah,
power? Because this saber, yeah, it has a history, but it also has a very dark history that you could say that this, the saber was, used to unite Mandalorians, but it was also used to go to battle with other
yeah,
Mandalorians, other clans, and like Death Watch. And I mean, gosh, think of all that was done with this
yeah,
saber and Clone Wars, everyone that died on it. Um, it's kind of like when Din said in Book of Boba Fett, he told the armor that loyalty and solidarity is the way. And I feel
yeah,
like by the Darksaber getting destroyed, they no longer have that crutch, essentially. And now it's like you're following because you're following Bo-Katan because you're loyal, you respect her. Um,
yeah,
all the qualities that Din was listing in the seventh episode to Bo-Katan, like you have honor, you have all this, you have this. Those are the reasons they're following Bo-Katan, and they are united because they have a common cause, a common goal, and they're gonna stay. Hopefully, they will stay united now because they're together because they want to be, not because they have to be.
right. So, what did you think of what did you think of the Grogu and the Mythosaur?
As in, like him, like looking down, like he can
Yeah,
sense it.
yeah, and then like
I was
kind of like the Mythosaur knew he
that,
was there.
um, it'd be interesting to figure out if they are force sensitive. I mean, a lot of animals in Star Wars are some variation of force sensitive, like the
Yeah,
Loth wolves. Um, I don't know if the Mythosaur is, but it might have just been a cool moment, just a cool moment just for plot. Grogu might have sensed it. I don't know if it sensed Grogu. We know Grogu has this gift of connecting with creatures, especially dangerous ones like
yeah,
the Rancor, but the Boba Fett. I guess I don't. People like, oh, Grogu's gonna tame the Mythosaur. Maybe they might not actually ever do anything with the Mythosaur. It just might have been there as a foreshadowing,
the
kind of like a
rise of a new Mandalore.
symbol,
Yeah,
for Bo-Katan, just like almost like treating it like a vision.
yeah,
Like I've had a vision of the Mythosaur.
yeah,
It might never awaken, and I think I'd be okay with that.
yeah, yeah. I think that'd be fine.
I think it was regardless of if anyone tames it or rides it, it's freaking cool, and it's kind of acting like this silent guardian of Mandalore.
Yeah,
But I did really like that moment because I was like, okay. I think Grogu sensed it. Something that big. Like, I don't know if he knew what it was, but I think he may have sensed something going on down
yeah. So, getting ready to wrap up. What do you think is going to happen in season 4, because season 4 obviously has already been written, and I believe has been announced. I think it actually came out Wednesday or maybe Thursday, but it's been announced that production and filming is going to start this October, which is interesting because I think the Filoni movie, as of right now, they're eyeing for a 2026 release. So we could potentially get season 4. Well, will we get that in 2024?
If it's filming, that'd be really fast.
Well, they did that with the other 2 seasons. They were pretty quick with
Christmas. If it's filming this, I think I heard October is when it's starting to film.
Yeah, October.
If it's starting to film in October, I see like late fall, Christmas at the earliest of 24.
Right. Because if you're going to try to have it,
it would make more sense like early spring, like or early summer, like May 4th-ish, or kind of how they release it this year for season 4 of 2025. Because you think about that's going to go on.
Yeah.
Because they're filming season 2 of Andor now. I just saw an article about filming the possibility of a landslide of wherever there are.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So season 2 of Andor is filming now. I think of the slate. It depends. Are we getting more shows that they haven't told us about?
Could because we got Ahsoka, because Tales of the Jedi season 2
and Visions.
I don't think. Actually, somebody on Twitter, I saw them already post the run times for Tales of the Jedi season 2. So I don't know. Maybe we're getting both those this year.
We got both first seasons and last summer.
And they were more likely getting both again.
It's very possible because they are shorts. It's very possible that.
So that means, because if you're going to do 2025, that basically means you're not going to have any kind of Star Wars based. Oh no, Andor will be 2024 then.
Andor,
but that'll be the only one though. So if you're Disney, just hypothetically speaking, are you fine with having just one Star Wars based show?
I can't see the way that they've been churning out content. I mean, they probably got a lot of Marvel coming though.
I can't think of what. Oh, duh! Because I keep forgetting about them. Skeleton Crew. The Acolyte.
An Acolyte.
I forgot about those 2. So.
Yeah, no, those are going to be probably 2024, 2025. Acolytes for sure 2024, right? Or is it coming out this year?
They've already had like teaser, like they did like a little bit of teasers at Celebration. Mm-hmm. So I would expect, if I had to take a guess, you're probably going to have Andor 2024 and probably The Acolyte in 2024. And in 2025, well, then that's 3 Star Wars. So, yeah. Because you do 2 Star Wars shows in 2024 and then 2 more in 2025 if you push season 4 of Mandalorian to 2025 and just a year before the Mando movie. So that probably... Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind a break because
Yeah.
It is a lot to keep up with, especially when you're watching other franchises like Marvel or Witcher or Game of Thrones or House of Dragon or Rings of Power, any of these. It's a lot to keep up with the once.
Yeah.
And I feel like I do like it when it's a little bit more of a slower release.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not grateful for what I'm getting. It's just hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
And I really hope that we don't, because a lot of people are getting Marvel fatigue, and I really hope that they learn from that, and that is not going to ever be the case with Star Wars.
Yeah, because we don't really know about. I don't think we're going to get a season 2 of Kenobi. I don't think we should get a season 2 of Kenobi. I think that's fine. I think one season is okay.
Like, I don't think there's a need for another one unless it's something I want here. I mean, we can make another episode on things that we want to see, stories that we think need to be told, especially in like the next season of Tales of the Jedi. But yeah, I don't see. Also season 3 of Bad Batch.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
The
That's
final season, yeah. So that'll be that animated usually goes a little faster than live action, I believe, right?
no, animated gets done well before live action, just because it's animation. It takes a little bit longer.
Probably already been working on it.
Oh yeah. I think they started season 3 of Bad Batch just as season 2 was starting to release. So so we're more than likely going to get Bad Batch. Yeah. So I mean, it's and then obviously we have the new Rey trilogy movies that are. Well, those will come out after. That's down the line. Why? Yeah.
I feel like they are gonna be in like still in the pre-production of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as what I think season 4 is gonna be like, and I've heard a lot of people talking about like season 4 and that one episode where they're on Coruscant. That is they're gonna kind of be what Rangers of the New Republic was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not already in cosplayer. I'm not mad. It makes sense for Din to kind of go back to his roots.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I think I like it. I kind of like him being this enforcer, but of course, with this job, he's gonna run into trouble with Thrawn and Ahsoka. That's probably actually how Skeleton Crew ties into this, is because those pirates are still out. That one pirate's still out there, and he's going to be the antagonist of the Skeleton Crew series. So I'm guessing that at some point Din's going to have to swoop in and save their butts or something. It's gonna be interesting to see. If he's fighting, he's kind of being a Outer Rim. That's probably going to bring in Boba Fett too and Tatooine again.
Yes, we're probably getting a season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett as well, maybe more than likely.
It makes sense, just because there's a lot that I feel like his arc isn't quite finished.
There's more you probably do.
I feel like there isn't a lot more to be told. Boba Fett, I feel like there's more going to be. Right. I feel like it might be like a kind of a crossover, maybe in season 4. They'll have a couple of Boba Fett episodes they did, and probably not.
I could see Mando season 4 leading to Book of Boba Fett season 2. Two things. Do you think we see Mandalore again? And then do you think there's going to be a time jump? If so, how much of a time jump are we talking?
It's really hard to say because it all has to do with the pacing of Ahsoka in that timeline. And it depends on if they find Thrawn and he's already escalating things, or if there's a time jump and they don't find him until after Mando season 3. And if that's the case, gosh.
Because I'm thinking there's probably a time jump, but nothing like too drastic.
I want to go. It depends on also how much they're trying to tie things into the sequels. Because if they're trying to do that more, then there's going to be more time jumps to get closer to The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they tied that with Gideon and his clones. I feel like they tied that in. And I feel like they're going to leave that Force-sensitive clone angle alone for now.
You also had Hux, the father of...
yes.
Because he was also in it, so there's that other tie-in.
I feel like the clone angle is going to be left alone for now, because I feel like they're going to touch more on that in Bad Batch season 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Obviously, they're going to have to say, like, well, how does Snoke get that or Palpatine get Gideon's information? Because obviously he's using it. I don't know. They might continue to. Gideon's dead though. People are like, oh, he's still alive. No, I think he's done.
Are you sure?
I think he's done.
Because there's a lot of people pointing out the fact that Gideon in season 2 had a mustache. This one this season didn't have a mustache and looked awful like the clones in the back.
You're thinking he's a clone.
Could be
plausible, but
I don't want that angle though.
I think it makes more sense from a storytelling point to Moff Gideon's arc. First few seasons has all been about Moff Gideon, and now it's switching to Thrawn. And I think Thrawn is going to be the big antagonist, the big focus. I think if he's not dead, Gideon's going to show up, and I think Thrawn's going to kill him. Like I
Oh
don't.
yeah. I can see that.
I really don't see him being alive, though. I could be wrong. I never could have predicted the angle that this past season was going to go. I mean, I can predict until my tongue falls off, and I'm probably not going to be right.
So it's going to be.
I feel like the whole time jump of this was just to, because it was all about Mandalore and all about them taking Mandalore back. And probably having Grogu being a little bit more experienced and having the covert be a little bit more organized and fleshed out. I don't know.
I would like to see a little bit more growth in Grogu. Maybe make it, like size wise. Because he obviously he can't.
Yeah, if they're getting to the point of him talking, then because obviously they're going to want him to talk at some point.
Because I
don't see a lot of growth happening when you think about their.
But he's like
a young. He's probably not going to get out of his. He's probably going to hit teenagers and for another 1,000 years.
Because I was watching somebody talk about it. I don't know if it's in Legends or not, but they were talking about Yoda because. By the time of Return of the Jedi, Yoda's about 900 years old, and they were talking about how he more than likely, because Grogu's like 50, probably 52 at this point, and they were talking about how Yoda somehow he did some kind of math, and he kind of predicted that or thought that Yoda started training Jedi at age 100. I'll have to go back and find it and send it to you, but that's what he was talking about. Because at a certain point, because if Yoda's 900 years old, he's been training Jedi for 900 years. What age did he start?
Did he start training Jedi?
Yeah, because if Grogu is already technically 50, 52, there's got to be a growth spurt somewhere. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe this sounds horrible. Maybe they age like dogs. Like dogs age.
Oh.
Most, by the time they hit their first year, they're full grown.
Okay.
Maybe it's like that.
You're probably right.
Probably not, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to go into season 4 and see Grogu 3 inches taller. I think I gotta think about him being cute and tiny and baby is the selling.
That's the selling point.
Yeah. I don't see him growing physically. Maybe talking. I feel like we could get maybe in the next season or in the Ahsoka movie, or not the Ahsoka movie, the Mando movie. Mm-hmm. But I mean, given that he is training, I could maybe a little time jump. I wouldn't say any more than 2 years though.
Okay, yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree.
If a couple months to a year would make sense. They're just out. They've been out in the Outer Rim doing their thing, type thing. Nothing dramatic.
Yeah.
I do want a timeline of how many months did season 3 span? How many months did season 2 span? I think full.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just too detail oriented, but I kind of want to know.
I will say this: if the first episode of
on Navarro, okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. I will say this: if the first episode of season 4 is not Mando and Grogu somehow capturing Elia Kane, then I think that'd be something. Because that's a plot that didn't get kind of resolved. Because she's still there in the New Republic.
Maybe it's, I don't know. She might be what if she's a double agent? What if she really wasn't working for Gideon, but she's really working for Thrawn the whole time? She's not done. I think she's in Coruscant. She's in a good position of power in the New Republic. Yeah. I think she's not done wreaking havoc yet. When you think about how closely you've got the Rebels characters are going to be tied in with the New Republic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
something that I feel is a little far-fetched, but I would like to see it. It's borderlining on I want a cameo. We got CGI young Luke. I would love to see CGI Leia in the new as in like the government, because she is very important in setting up the New Republic. Her and Mon Mothma, because we know we're getting Mon Mothma.
Right.
I think it would fit to see her even in a hologram. Also, what is the book with her when everyone finds out that Vader is Luke and Leia's father?
Oh, okay.
And that's why Leia takes a step back from the Senate, and why she doesn't have as many connections in the sequels, because people know Vader is her father. I don't know when that takes place. Would be interesting if we just get a little like a news article or something about that as just a reference. I don't even need to see her, just a name drop.
Yeah.
Senator Leia Organa, want very badly.
Oh my
Luke got his little CGI.
Yeah.
Why not Leia? I would love to see, even if it's not Carrie, obviously I would love to see her face again.
Right. Maybe get her daughter. Maybe try to do that. No, that'd be pretty good.
I mean, she's already. Oh gosh, what's her name? Yeah, I mean, she's been in the sequels, and she does have a strong. Because she was her double in that scene in Rise of Skywalker, right? When Leia and Luke are like saber fighting in the forest. Yeah, Bonnie, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I think they got.
Yes, she was Leia's double for the CGI in that scene.
Yeah.
So
you could do that. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Oh man, but definitely.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it could have a lot to tie into Ahsoka with the new movie, or it could pull a surprise and be its own thing. It could introduce a new player. Because them talking about Unrisked and Outer Rim, a lot of pirates, a lot of.
Yeah.
I want Hondo. Hondo.
That is a character that definitely needs to show up.
Another thing that I've been thinking about, I'm not sure, I think it doesn't happen until like a little bit before The Force Awakens, but this is far-fetched. Extremely, extremely far-fetched. But I'm not sure if you know that Kix is still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's in carbonite. He was kidnapped by Palpatine sometime during season 7 and put in carbonite, and he's later awoken, or he's found by a gang of pirates.
Yeah.
In the outer.
Yeah, I watched a video about that a while back, and then that's what they were talking about. It's like, oh, that's interesting.
And so I think it's one of the pirate crews that that's in The Force Awakens that tries to capture Han's ship. I think they're one of the pirate groups that found Kix. And I would love to see Kix. Like, again, that would be, I don't think the timelines would match up. I think it's probably going to happen like 10 more years into the future.
Yeah.
But you want a really far-fetched theory of love to see? I want to see Kix. Probably not going to happen.
Right. One can hope, though.
I think it's going to be interesting. Ask me again after Ahsoka, and my answer is going to probably be completely different. You think we're going to see Din and Ahsoka?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Because I don't really see. There's really not. I can't see a reason for Din and Grogu to be in Ahsoka.
I kind of agree. I feel like they're gonna have their hands full.
Yeah.
I don't know, storytelling wise. It's all about. It's Ahsoka. I feel like it's gonna be very heavily focused on the Jedi. Oh, you're frozen up again.
Oh, did I? Oh, what? I did.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That was weird.
That's
probably what it is then.
It looks like this is very much going to be focused on Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And her path as a Jedi, maybe her choosing to become a Jedi again. I don't know. but I don't think a Mandalorian. I mean, Sabine's already in there.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I currently don't really see that happening.
Yeah.
Or Boba Fett either.
So
I feel like that's gonna have to wait until season 4 of Mando or the movie, because Thrawn, that's not gonna get resolved in Ahsoka. He's gonna be the big bad in the movie. So I feel like the whatever is happening with Thrawn is gonna continue. Yeah, I feel like Ahsoka is gonna introduce Thrawn and get that journey started, and I feel like halfway through season 4, he's gonna be doing his own thing, and then he's gonna get pulled back stuff with Thrawn, and then they're gonna continue that in the movie.
Interesting. Well, we got a while, so
we have a long while, but a lot of really cool projects to tie us over.
Yeah, so definitely. This was good. This was fun. I enjoyed this.
This was fun. Yeah, I haven't talked about this with anyone, so always.
Well, but guys, that is where we're gonna wrap it up with our Mandalorian season 3 review. Very fun conversation about this, and it was, it was a good season. I very much enjoyed it. But let's hear from you guys. Be sure to, obviously, hit that like and subscribe button. Tell us what you thought about the season in the comments. And other than that, we'll just see you guys in the next Star Wars video we do. And other than that, we'll catch you guys later. See ya.